Cool.
Hello, hello.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Age of Darkness dev stream. I'm Nick, and right now you're seeing Mario. We are two of the game designers on Age of Darkness. Mario is going to kick off this play session. We're going to be on here for about an hour, and we're going to just play start of survival game. Are you going to put on any hardships, Mario?
That's what I'm thinking. I know the last few times we had a fun little challenge when we had Ryan play. He was playing melee only. I'm just wondering if we mixed it up ever so slightly with maybe a hardship. Although I don't want to die in the first 30 minutes or something.
Sounds like you need to get good, but why don't you start by why don't you turn off pausing? That'll keep things fun, flowing.
Oh, okay. That's really scary. All right, so how about pausing and encroaching darkness? The Veil eagerly returns every night.
Okay, that's really spicy. That seems.
All right, let's go easy mode then. Rusty tools and time waits for no one.
Okay, let's do it. Take it off.
Awesome. Alrighty, who are we going to use?
So if you guys watching have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we will do our best to answer them. I already see we've got someone who asks, are there more heroes planned? To which I can say, yes, and I can say no more.
Did you say 4, Nick?
Said no more. I can say no more. But there are more heroes planned. Okay, Rebellion, good.
Yeah, I was feeling a bit red today.
So, Mario, tell me about your initial starting strategy here.
Yeah, look, my first thing is just checking to see if there's any other players online. Oh, sorry, not other players online. To see if there's any wood around. Right now, I'm just clearing the surrounding area in all seriousness and looking for choke points. So I can see that I've got a pretty big one here. I've got a nice little stone vein here. Maybe we can get a bigger one if we look a bit further. And I'm trying to do this before I hit my first 300 gold. So we found another. Ooh, okay. That's really good. So we're gonna get that one ready.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna bring a soldier over here so we can clear the fog of war over here before my gold caps. Let's see what we've got. 14. Yeah, we can do 14. 14's not bad. Ready.
Now you like to go lumber camp or house, huh?
Yeah, I'm totally up to being questions on my strategies, but this is what's always worked for me.
That's fair. I like to throw down a house straight off the bat. Get a little more gold income, not have to worry about population for a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a smart play.
So we've got our first previous question. Oh, this is some ones that we collected earlier. With multiple game designers, what does each of you work on, and how much does our work overlap? So, for those who don't know, there's currently 4 game designers on Age of Darkness, and we all work to some degree on everything. So I tend to do a lot of the admin and organization with other departments. I'm the senior designer on this project,
Something for me.
and I will also tend to guide discussions about upcoming features. Mario is very much in the weeds with some upcoming content, some very exciting upcoming content, things that we've teased for quite a while, but we can't talk about in great detail yet. We've got another Nick on this project, and he is sort of the keeper of survival. And he's also constantly working on upcoming content, as well as ensuring that the balance is staying relatively in good shape. We've always got content way down the pipeline that we are planning around, so sometimes there'll be balance changes that may not necessarily make sense off the bat, but will make more sense in the coming months. This is one of those weird things about being in early access, is we've got content coming out at different times, just because of the pipeline. We're always building towards something. And then finally, we've got a new game designer, Shane, who's also working on some very exciting upcoming content that we can't talk about yet.
That content rhymes with rampage.
What could that be? I really don't know. Is it champagne?
How did you know? Did say it was exciting.
We've got someone who asks, would you ever consider a co-op mode? 1 bigger crystal, 2 different bases that have to work together. It could attack either, etc. Yes. Yes, we would consider that.
What is it?
Okay, so Mario, how are you feeling about this at the moment? All your units still?
Look, I'm a little rusty, I'm not going to lie. All that champagne work we've been doing. But yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty good. I'm probably not as far as I'd want to be if I was playing competitively. Probably not using my hero enough. But I'm pretty confident in terms of the layout here. I think it's quite dependable. So although I'm not doing great, I think we'll be alright.
You've got a pretty juicy stone node there, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, strangely, the thing that I'm wanting right now that I haven't found is a really nice wood source, but yeah, I could probably be exploring a little bit more.
Yeah. So I'll ask another question, which is on screen right now. Is multiplayer happening? If so, what date approximately? It is happening. It's going to be co-op. And I don't know that we can tell you the exact date, but it's going to be later this year.
What now?
Someone asks, do we have it in the works for an endless mode, where it's just you versus endless amounts of hordes?
Great question.
Even co-op endless. That would be fun.
Yep.
We don't currently have it in the works, but we've discussed it. It's something we would definitely like to do. But there's a lot of other stuff we have to get done for.
Yeah, that's a real big challenge with this game and us taking on the load of trying to make all these cool modes at the same time, just so we've got a really full, complete package on release. Is that it's just tough, sort of weighing up which ones we focus on at the start.
That's right. I mean, ultimately, this is a fairly small team. There's about 25-ish, give or take, people working on this game at any given time.
Ready.
So we have to be pretty clever about where we're using our resources.
Yep.
You dare question me?
Mario, a really important question.
Yep.
This is from me. Who's your favorite hero?
Who's my favorite? Damn, I wish I could pause so I could talk about this. Damn it. Look, what people see on the game is mainly the gameplay stuff and a very, very small amount of lore. But from my end, it's not only the gameplay stuff and that small amount of lore, but it's also the larger amount of lore as well of this world that we're still working on getting to everyone. So I'm a little bit biased in that regard, but
Very well.
I think besides all that, I think Edwin's still my favorite. There's just something about your firstborn. You know, we say that they're not our favorite, but they usually are.
For those who don't know, Mario has actual kids.
On
Hopefully, none of them are watching.
We're all too young. We'll be alright.
Make the call.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I love every hero, including heroes that are still just planned and aren't out. There's something about every hero that we make that is magical. It's the reason why we make them. You know, we start off with the point where we're like, hey, like what would be really cool, and that just becomes this snowball of creative iteration. So yeah, every single hero has something that I'm a big fan of. But yeah, Edwin's probably my go-to.
All right, now what about your favorite unit?
Favorite unit? Unit is a good one. I think
What is
I
it?
think I'm a big fan of the Impaler. And I know it's a weird one to say because most people are like, why would you use the Impaler? But I just think in theory, the Impaler reminds me of the old school, what was it, the Scorpion from Age of Empires 2. And there's just something about that, hitting that point as a kid playing that game, you just felt super overpowered. Something that I'd love to try to get into our survival mode at one point.
Get on with it.
I like the Impaler quite a lot. I gotta say, I really like the Sentinel though. There's nothing quite like having a giant beefcake who can just soak up hits. It's basically a mobile wall. Here's a question on screen right now. How are decisions made around what to prioritize? Well, there's a big team of people who all have these discussions. We've got this giant list of stuff we want to do. Only got so many hours in the week, and we've got some pretty specific deadlines for certain things we need to get done. So number one is the stuff that has to happen no matter what. That's our number one priority. After that, it is looking at what the community is asking for, as well as what the game needs from the perspective of us game designers. And then looking at what resources we have available and what the time frame is going to be for those things done. This game has been in development for what, a year and a half now, Mario?
Yeah, maybe a bit longer, but yeah.
My cup's almost
Yeah, so we're kind of in the sunset phase of development at this point, where we're trying to just pull all these things together, put out a nice cohesive product. And so it's about things we can't get done more than it is the things we can get done. It's lots of hard decisions being made.
Yeah, and the
Basically,
tough part as
number
well.
one is... Go ahead.
I was just going to say the tough part as well is like because we are early access and because as a studio, this is still a really big thing for us trying to make this awesome game. You never really know how far it's going to go as well in terms of like the years to come. You know, we could release the game in like version 1, version 2. That could be it. It could be something that ends up being, you know, picking up and going for a long time. So yeah, if we have to treat it as if like, all right, our release is our release, and what must go into the game with that release.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you love Age of Darkness and you want more Age of Darkness, the best thing you can do is tell your friends to buy Age of Darkness, because then we can keep making Age of Darkness. I know
That's a great point.
lots and lots of people want to keep making Age of Darkness. So if there's like features you're after, basically we just need to make sure that enough people are interested in it, and that is tracked with money.
I command.
Here's a question from Ezekiel. Hey team, when can we expect to see the legendary buildings mentioned in the timeline, and what ideas do you have in the works around this? We can answer the when. We probably can't answer the what. The when is later this year. Got buildings that are faction specific,
You mean
that are going to really help inform the identities of each of these factions and really create a different playstyle for each faction. I don't want to go any more specific than that. Some of them are really, really exciting, but they're still a little ways down the line.
upgrade complete?
Here's another question. Is it true you guys were They Are Billions fans and wanted to expand on that game and add your own ideas, e.g. so AOD was developed?
Got something
I
for
think
me?
you're a pretty big Tab fan, right?
Yeah. So a lot of the origin of the game really came from like, hey, this does this thing that we think is really cool, like the tone of Tab, that sense of tension, something that we've always loved. But we played it, and I think as devs, we play games like this is so cool, and the first thing that the first thing that happens that sort of gives you a hint that something is cool is all the devs start going, what would be cool, and they start, ideating on what we could do better, or hopefully different, in a way that we think is cool. And that's what happened with Tab. We instantly thought that the tension of it and the coldness of it suited the whole Game of Thrones sort of vibe. And yeah, that was kind of the start of the idea. It was just like, cool, how do we get that awesome feeling? Plus, the stuff that we like as well from other games, heroes and factions, story.
Mm-hmm. I think it has to be said that having just melee units in a game with hordes of monsters makes a big difference. It feels quite visceral. It's quite confrontational.
On my way.
Yeah, and you can't not think about oh my god, imagine this with like a Lord of the Rings, skin, or Game of Thrones skin, or whatever else. Instantly, you go to those sort of things, and they're exciting. There's something about it that's really exciting.
Here's another question from a current viewer. Ren asks, any plan for competitive maps, which are basically the same seed everybody can play on? Nobody has
Ooh.
RNG.
Love that.
Compare their runs to each other. Yeah, we've definitely discussed it.
What now?
That's probably going to be
What are you?
post-release, I think.
Yeah, most likely, for sure. This is really cool though. This is something that came up very, very early. Even I think before we even locked in doing things like campaign and multiplayer, we would love to have challenge maps. One that comes to mind for me was this old school turn-based strategy game, Battle for Westnoth. They had community created stuff, which is a bit different. But then another one is obviously the StarCraft maps, which are always so much fun. Variety.
Yeah, so it's definitely on our radar. All right, how you going, Mario?
I'm going. I'd say my efficiency is slightly low, just because the setup I got here. I'm going to do the classic gamer move and blame my hardware. Something with this mouse, the sensitivity or something, or there's something off, and it's probably not changing much. But I think we're a little bit slow, but we're on track-ish. I think we'll make it.
Speak.
Well, you've got all your core infrastructure up now, right?
Yeah, I think I'm just a little bit behind in terms of like probably where I should be at this point for a nice competitive sort of play, but I think we'll make it. I think Eco is at a point where we're okay-ish.
Ready.
Yeah, we are
Got
getting a little bit.
plenty of farms, plenty of pop.
Yeah,
You
we
just
are.
have to start pumping up those units.
Exactly. Yeah, and maybe a little bit more wood, just so we can supply making some defenses when we need them. But yeah.
Have you picked any upgrades yet on the perk tree?
I haven't actually. That's a really good point. I probably should,
Research complete.
especially with the rebellion and their bonuses on archers. Whew. So good.
Here's another question is on screen right now. Are you planning on giving factions more difference? Absolutely. We've got quite in-depth plans. It's going to require a fair bit of internal balance testing. It's actually we're working on it at the moment. The first faction update really only touched on troops, and troops are only a small portion of what actually makes AOD tick. So the future factions update or updates will be
All right.
touching on all those other elements to really flesh out what makes each faction different. Make sure that every time you're playing a different faction, you're getting a completely different experience. Our end goal is
For me,
that the feel of each faction is very distinct and unique.
Yeah, and I think the big thing about factions, or like we could talk about factions all day, but I think the big thing as well is we look at any of the sort of RTSs that we love, and you do have to have that identity. I know some people raise that hey, can I play with like no faction and just let me sort of use anything I want without any modifiers? And I think as much as that's a really cool idea to have as an option, it's not something that we'd want to rely on early days. I think we'd really want to give it a good go at making really fun and interesting factions where you could get something out of any of the factions, maybe some interesting sort of play styles that maybe you didn't think of before. I think if we do our job correctly, you should be able to find something that you really enjoy through them.
Yep, that's right. We kind of think of the core mechanics as like vanilla, and then vanilla's a good base for sure, but you want something to crunch on, want some chocolate swirls in there.
But
You mean
we've had lunch already. We're not just started. We've had lunch.
What is it?
So I never play like this, but I think I'm nervous because I'm on stream, so I'm building a lot of like preemptive defenses. The last thing I want is to embarrass
Our
myself
defenses are under
and lose
attack.
to Death Knight 1.
Do you even know where the crystal is yet?
No clue.
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy you've taken here, Mario.
It's probably going to be detrimental.
So, I'm very interested to see how this plays out. Hey, it could be great. Here's a question from one of our viewers. Are you planning to add other visual environments that could also affect units' gameplay? For example, snow, desert, etc.
Another good one.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Again, this is a resourcing thing. Environments take a really, really long time, especially when it's randomized. We have to have all those tile sets meshed together. We have to account for every single edge case where it's like cliffs on water, water on wood, wood on cliff, and then across every single. We've got these 3 tiers now, so we have to do that for every single tier. Short answer is we would love to do it. The caveat here being with enough time. It's planned.
I think
it's
that sort of leans into progression in general as well. Like at the moment, we've got the difficulty and we've got hardships, but I think in a perfect world, we definitely would have multiple ways to progress through the game. And I'm not saying that we'd want to lock away core content or anything like that, but we definitely want the players to feel like, hey, I've mastered this. What else is there? And have exciting new twists to come to. And that could be biomes, that could be map effects, it could be,
Our buildings are
what
under
it is
attack.
exactly. We're not 100% locked in, but yeah, we definitely have a few ideas there.
Upgrade complete.
Very well.
Oh man, that Spearman was going for you.
Elites, no joke, dude.
Archer ready.
Okay, so you've built some preliminary defenses. Now we know the crystal is. Which path is it going to take? That's the next question.
Yeah.
Your unit count is okay, I think. You need a few more archers, I reckon. You need some walls. Otherwise, you're looking pretty good. Assuming you can pick the right path.
Oh, I didn't even go hard iron as well. I should have went hard iron.
you mean you're
We got in the watchtower.
It's okay.
Oh, please. Please,
I wonder if
Archer.
it's. I feel like this Death Knight's gonna pull a sneaky.
On my way.
Yeah, it looks too good to be true.
Yeah, it's like right there, and you got a pretty good choke point, so it's definitely not gonna go that way.
Upgrade complete.
If you know I can't pause, my god. You guys can't see it, but I'm stressing every time I go to pause and nothing happens. I'm like, help.
Oh, we can see it.
Very well.
All right. There's a unit laptop is asked. When creating new content for the game, do you have any core design philosophies, e.g., new units needing to serve a unique purpose?
Great question.
Yeah. Do you want to touch on that, Mario?
Onward.
Sure. Sorry, can you just repeat so I get the whole thing?
Sure. When creating new content for the game, do you have any core design philosophies?
Yeah, right. And then the EG was like units or
There?
buildings
Yeah,
or just units.
units need to serve a unique purpose, for example.
Yeah. So I think it's probably just a universal game design thing, or maybe just a playside thing. But we love to, if we're adding something, we should also be solving something else. But then more closely, if we're talking about AOD, I think something that we always try to follow is supporting playstyles. We never want to create something that is only for one thing. Like, we don't want to add a unit or a nightmare or something like that and be like, all right, well, this is just to counter Arbalest alone. You know, it should be something that the player can sort of plan and think about and come up with multiple different ways to play it or use it in different ways. So the Watchtower is probably a pretty small example of it, but the Watchtower was solving one primary purpose, but we didn't want to just give you something that just shows the path 100% of the time. You kind of have to place it as well. You have to spec into iron, but then it also hints to where points of interest are as well. So yeah, we try to just make sure that we're solving multiple things and give players some form of choice or control where we can.
Boy, this watching you stand there with your resources capped is stressing me out, Mario.
Oh, dude, I need the pause button.
Okay, less than a minute remaining at this point. Where do you think you're gonna go?
As
If it comes this way, I'll be alright.
And if it doesn't?
If that doesn't happen, yeah, no, my luck it'll come up this way, and I'll just get once. Okay.
Yeah. So to touch on what Mario was saying, yeah, we basically want to ensure that content always serves a purpose and enhances player choice, gives players more agency. If we're doing something that removes some axis of challenge, it has to have some challenge of its own. So in the case of the Watchtower, for example, there is thought that has to go into where you're placing it, even when you're placing it, because of that limited radius. You kind of want to choose a time when you know when the crystal's already visible. You can have an educated guess about where that path's going to come from. Well, here we go. Uh-oh. Where's that path?
Up to the top.
Oh, no!
Oh, the mouse. Against me.
It's all the mouse. Ren asks, are any customizations for heroes planned, from visual things like skins to maybe hero skill trees? Another great question. We've talked about both of those things. This is another one of those things where it's like it currently falls outside of the scope of what we have planned. But we want it post-release if the game has enough support from you guys. Oh boy. Oh, it's getting spicy, Mario.
Oh no. Didn't mean to do that. That was an accident.
Oh boy. Have you got any archers hidden around the map you can pull in?
Probably.
Things are kind of going in the right direction.
Our defenses are under attack.
You got this, Mario.
I keep thinking that the explosions are the spitter.
Oh. Okay.
I know there's someone in this Discord being like, I know, I told you that. Got some visual bugs over here, which is...
Speaking of bugs, as you guys know, this is an early access game, so we are constantly developing. If you encounter bugs, and you're like, why haven't you guys fixed it yet? It's taking you so long to fix these things. you should definitely let us know what those bugs are. Sometimes we just don't know about them. There's many PC setup permutations that can exist that we just don't have. So it's hard for us to catch everything. And again, small team means it's hard for us to catch everything. So if you've got anything you've found, any weird bugs, and you can reproduce them even better, just post them on Discord. We'll hunt them down eventually. Oh my goodness, Mario, you did it.
Yeah, not too shabby. That was a bit rusty, but it's alright.
Alright, you're shaking off the cobwebs.
Fair.
What blessing are you going to choose, I wonder?
Oh yeah, blessings. What do we have? Oh, thank you. Budget Carpenter. Let's go.
Yeah, immediately after you put a bunch of towers down.
Yeah, give me that discount.
Oh,
I'm all about the bargains.
okay, here's a question on screen. What kind of difficulty is the right kind for Age of Darkness? That's a good and difficult question to answer.
Are we referring to literally the difficulty settings, or are we talking about, like, what are we trying to create?
Well, I think in terms of difficulty settings, I can tell you that we tend to balance around veteran.
That's the intended.
What now?
Yeah. But in terms of the right kind of difficulty, so there's a few kinds of difficulty in this. There's micromanagement, which is handling your units, ensuring that certain units don't die, that you're getting enough value out of them. There's econ management, which is sort of your macro. That's where you are managing your income and expenditures. There's the base placement, which is making sure that you are getting the efficiency out of space. There's time management. These are all like quite important for Age of Darkness's difficulty, and it's the combination of all these things that actually kind of sets the gameplay up for Age of Darkness. Without all these things working in tandem, Age of Darkness doesn't quite feel cohesive. So we're kind of looking at all of these aspects whenever we're adding new content or adjusting balance.
Dare question me.
Alright, I'm going.
Here's a question from Boo Hassan. Do you guys add any form of mod support when the game releases or after release? As it would greatly expand the lifetime of the game. We have plans for that, I believe. I don't know what the timeline is for that, but that's definitely our intention. We want to be able to let you guys mod this game.
Upgrade complete.
I'm on it.
Yeah, without going too much into it, we with us working on the campaign, it's kind of going hand in hand where we're trying to create tools that, although not ready for the community at all yet, it probably will be on the same system. So us being able to create content should be the same as being able to create content. There are other forms though that we could look at if we wanted something that was out a little bit earlier. It wouldn't be to the degree where you could create, your own campaign or anything, but we could expose more options in terms of, like, how the map spawns or multiplayers on certain things. So it almost feels more like cheats. Yeah, it really just depends on what the community wants, and obviously the time factor as well.
Okay, Mario, what's your strategy from here?
Look, I'm definitely playing it by ear a little bit, but I'm thinking of getting up my aggression a little bit, getting up the army up a little bit, whilst also slowly reinforcing what I can. I've bought ballistas, and I've never bought ballistas in my life. I'm usually more of a micro sort of player, so yeah, this will be interesting. It might not work.
I personally love ballistas. I don't get them every time, but when I feel under the gun by Death Knight 1, I'm all in on ballistas.
Yeah, we'll try to get some of the eco going. Try to get out some.
Boy, those guys are low on health.
Try to get some arbs going. Some sense. Pick up 20 inches or two.
What are you going to research first?
Good question. I'd like to go. Maybe I'll go treasury, or Maybe we'll just try to rush for eco farms or something. Advanced farms.
My cup's almost
If I could
empty.
pause, I'd pause right now and go do it right now. But I'm not good at the no pausing.
Yeah, someone took that
Our
functionality away from me.
defenses are under attack.
As I command.
I gotta say, you're doing pretty good, all things considered. Not easy playing for an audience.
Precisely.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Like, I think the last time I played, I was just... You'd think I'd never played the game. I was like, played thousands of hours, and just, yeah, on camera is hard. Probably not even on camera, it's probably just playing whilst also, like, answering questions, so you're, like, pausing and thinking and not doing all the things that you're meant to be doing.
Right. Tip minus the pausing.
Yeah, that's it.
Psycho Pink asks, "Are you winning, Mario? No pressure."
Psycho Pink, I recognize that name. I think so. I think I'm winning. Maybe.
Edward Enor asks, "With faction changes, would you ever change the design of the buildings to suit faction/heroes? Like AoE games, different civs, different look housing, etc." There are plans for that.
Yeah, the whole visual thing behind factions. If time wasn't a question and time and cost for these things wasn't a question, we'd have unique buildings for every single building would be unique. It's really just as a time factor. So we just have to figure out what can we change within time and within scope, and what's going to be most impactful.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're picking and choosing our battles here, just like Mario right now.
Oh, that was a bad idea.
Didn't want to block off your exit there?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I shouldn't be quite so sassy, because if I were playing, the bully.
Totally a next time. I'd love to watch you play with like
Our
a bunch of
buildings are under
hardships on
attack.
as well. It'd be funny.
Would it?
Dude, even just having them on, like, these hardships aren't hard, the ones I've got right now, but just having them on, there's almost like this placebo effect where I'm stressed out and I shouldn't be.
Yeah, you know, I had completely forgotten that you had the no repair hardship on. So I was watching your towers burning, and I was like, why aren't you repairing the tower?
I
It's
tried
so
to click it
weird.
a few times as well, and I was just like, oh no.
Training.
I shall lead.
This is from Ezekiel as well. Currently, the upgrade tree pop-up box seems very limited. Is there plans to give this an overall? I like the upgrades for units or ways of playing defense/offense.
I command.
We've got lots of discussions on that front. We need to nail down one plan, basically. We think that the perk tree in general is pretty cool. We know that there's some perks that are not as widely used, and we want to fix those up as a starting point.
Prove yourselves.
No timeline on that,
Undoubtedly.
Oh my god, I keep trying to pause.
I think if you keep trying, it will work eventually.
I'm hoping that I'll bug it somehow. And I know QA, if they're watching this, they're like, no, you won't.
This is a question from our lovely moderator. Are there plans for a reward system for achieving victory or surviving a certain amount of nights?
Great question.
That is another great question. There are plans, yes. By launch, we want survival to feel like a complete game. We want lots of reasons to keep replaying. I want an evolving experience. We've got some pretty cool plans on that front,
Yes?
and it's the sort of thing that potentially we could build upon in the future with enough support.
Oh my god, this mouse. That was the mouse. That was flat out the mouse. I can actually blame it for real this time.
Burbleberry asks, what difficulty are you playing? Technically, we're playing a custom game, but it's veteran. We're playing veteran, except that Mario can't pause, and he can't repair a building. And it's very, very funny watching him stressed out about it.
I'm actually so stressed as well. I knew everything was coming. I just can't deal with it.
He's doing pretty good. I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, but watch like the next Death Knight and come like over here, and I'm just totally unprepared for it. Yes, farms.
ready.
The thing that I should be doing.
Oh yes.
I don't have. What have I done? Foolish man.
How's your research going?
Archer ready.
I've messed up because I have overspent my villagers.
You've pop locked yourself.
Yeah. And you know what they say? Never pop and lock yourself. I'm assuming
I do say that. Yeah. I say it all the time.
Alright, so we got a bit of a force coming up here, which is cool. The main thing I'm looking for here is just to take over some area, so then this can turn into farmlands pretty much. And on the way, hopefully we get some juicy resources, or if we're really lucky, a survivor camp, and we can grab some units. Cool, now that we got that food coming in, start to chunk this up a little bit.
Game designer Nick Amzalag would be very upset to hear you say never pop and lock yourself.
Research complete.
Our other designer, Amza, is a fantastic dancer, but a bit accident prone. He hurts himself. He's like, I'm such a good dancer, and then something.
But at least the excuse is he's dancing when he does it. Like,
And I think it's because he's so good. Like he takes it. Yeah, he's very good. So,
throws his whole body into it.
Aye.
Alrighty, what do we need here? We need some arms going. Hold on, I need more space.
Ezekiel asks, are there any plans for metagame progression? This feature is something I really like in games that would also improve replayability by games. We touched on that a little bit already, but yes, there are plans for that.
Very well.
Can't talk about it in detail yet, but it's coming. Boo Hassan asks, are there any plans to significantly buff melee units either through regular stat increases or more interesting technologies, perks, synergetic buildings as currently melee units are far too costly for what they offer. Only Vault's faction can make them somewhat viable in my experience. We've got some balance changes coming down the pipeline that will quite drastically change, I think, how you view most units. Would you say that's fair, Mario?
That's a pretty broad statement.
It is. It
Sounds
is.
like you've got something in the works there, Nick.
I don't know why that would be. But yes, we've got some plans. We're aware of the limitations of melee units, and we're aware of the incentives to use range units, and we've got some plans to some degree,
I shall lead.
not quite counteract, but
We want to
address
improve it.
some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big thing, like we talked about before, is like that element of choice. If someone wants to play more total and sort of just sit in their base and make a bunch of defenses and let things come to them and kill them, they should be able to. Someone wants to go out and play with a whole bunch of melee units and feel like they're literally in a battlefield, they should be able to. The hard part is just our job of trying to balance it all, make sure it's fun and fair for all. Because even if we make melee just really cool as they are right now, then it just turns into the opposite of the Arbalest situation where everyone just uses melee. So yeah, it's just a fine-tuning sort of game we aim for.
Yeah, the key is to ensure that every unit has a reason to. One part of this, of course, is factions, which is it influences the strengths and weaknesses of these
Our
units
defenses are under attack.
and how they're used. So, you mentioned that the Vaultists seem to be the only unit that currently uses melee, which is, I would say, not an entirely unfair statement. But that's also kind of the point of the faction system. You can have a faction that has heavy emphasis on melee. You want that balance to be a little more spread out, and so that's something we've got on the books at the moment that we're working through.
As I command.
But I would say don't expect every unit to be as useful in all cases across all factions.
Can we just
Ezekiel,
appreciate this stone
that
vein? for
is a
second?
very nice stone thing.
That is a chonky stone vein.
Ezekiel asks, "What is something you can tell us that might get us in trouble, but won't get us in major trouble?" I'm gonna leave that to you, Mario.
I need more information. So, as in, like, something that we're allowed
what's-
to say,
what's
but
something-
we're not allowed to say?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this because I literally asked someone right before this, "Hey, can I say this?" And they're like, "Don't say that."
Actually, Sam said you can say this one word: armor.
Armor. Okay.
Yeah. All right. What was your thing?
I was just gonna say that some of the campaign suggestions that people have pitched as like cool one-off missions or a cool idea for the story, some are closer than I'd like to admit to what's actually going to happen in the story. So yeah, keep going. I really love the lore hype, the lore fan stuff. If you guys have thoughts, let us know. Maybe you'll influence some stuff.
Yeah, we like reading the comments and the speculation. We loved seeing what you guys thought Vizargo was all about when he launched.
Sorry, I have to just put one caveat on that one. The only one that I'm not behind is Alis being a vampire queen. Although I understand why you guys got it.
We can definitively say Alis is not a vampire.
With me.
It is actually wine in her glass. Or some sort of alcoholic beverage. It's not
For
blood.
me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Nick Cage here asks, do you cast voiceover actors locally being based in Australia? Sometimes. We actually cast a pretty wide net. We've cast a lot of actors and actresses from Britain.
As I
We've also cast some from Australia. Have we cast any from the US? I think we might have. Not positive. We just go by who's best for the role.
prove yourselves.
This one on screen. What's been the most challenging part of the game to work on? It's a good question. So for me, it's been. So I joined this project midstream, so I joined about 6 months ago, and for me it was getting my head around
Defenses are under attack.
everything that AOD had already made,
For me.
and then helping to build the future of it, so the campaign, co-op, and whatever else comes down the line. That was quite an undertaking. Mario,
This is
what
hard
do you?
in general, man. Like to be honest, I think in hindsight, it's pretty crazy that we chose to do an RTS as one of our first sort of breakout games as a studio, because RTSs are hard. There's a lot to it, even just the sheer number of like variables that you need to balance to make something fun is insane. So it's super rewarding, but all parts of it are hard. Getting the balance of the tension, the difficulty that we're going for, making sure that's still fun and doesn't just feel unfair. It's super hard coming up with things for heroes and how they play and the balance between them, and story, the stuff that you guys haven't seen as much yet. The stuff that we're working on is incredibly hard. So yeah, when people talk about like Warcraft and Starcraft and stuff, like no joke, like what they did is amazing. Such a huge undertaking. Alright, we're not in a good spot right now. This is real bad.
Oh,
Shall lead.
you pulled some pretty
This is real
angry
bad.
spitters there.
There.
And I want to pause so I can build an army, but
That's mine.
not in a good spot.
Our defenses are under attack.
Defend your queen.
Burbleberry says, "You got this, Mario." So at least one
Cheers.
person.
Yeah, that wasn't great. That really wasn't great.
But you made it.
Yeah, we're gonna back this up even more now because we don't want to be in that position again. But yeah. We're definitely not in a good spot now, though. I'd say.
Yeah.
Our trajectory is definitely going to be downhill now. This is what I
Well-
enjoy about AOD, though. It sort of teaches. It's just like life, right? You overextend too much without thinking about what you're doing. You know, you don't pause when you need to. Things turn out no good.
Aye.
Yeah, I feel like I did set you up for failure here.
Yeah.
So if that's also a reflection of life, I'm very, very sorry. But
Oh, shit.
What now?
hey, but you know what? It's gonna keep the stream the appropriate length of time.
What do you want?
That's good.
That's it. It can't be too good.
Yeah, we can't. If you're like really winning, we won't be able to get back to work
Yes.
and actually make the rest of AOD. Boo Hassan asks, will we see longer and larger game modes or games in the future? For example, tier 4+ buildings and 5+ with larger maps, etc. 5+ crystal.
Great question.
We don't have any plans for longer game mode at the moment. No. In fact, some of the feedback we've received in recent surveys
Ready
has
to
indicated
run.
that, if anything, the opinion about the game length is that it skews a little bit long.
Moving.
So we don't have any like firm plans to greatly shorten the length of the game. Where there's no plan to extend it either. Some people, I think, prefer sort of session-based gameplay.
My cup's almost empty.
Tracking.
All right, Mario. We've talked about your favorite unit and your favorite hero.
Yep.
Favorite voice line.
Oh my god, this could. I wish our audio boys were watching this if they're not already. So right before we actually got the proper voices in, we had some placeholder audio, and the Archer. Oh my lord, had the best AI made voice. One of her lines that she had in was "moving," and it became a running joke that we still refer to today. So I think most of the lines that didn't make it in, they got cut, are probably my fave. But outside of that,
As I
All the ones you can't hear.
Yeah.
Those are.
just because they're so funny. But I think outside of that, the ones that are still in there, I love Edwin. I love Edwin. I love his his crazy sort of stuff, like the all of his righteous sort of stuff. I think it's super cool. I think one of the ones I really liked was Cut as well, actually, where it was both light and dark live inside me. Like stuff like that, I just love. I think it's super cool. And Vizago all around is really cool as well. Like his whole energy is really sick. Love me an emo boy. So yeah.
Some a little insight into Mario's personal life there. Ooh, that's a lot of towers.
This spearman's going down. He has to. Get evicted. I need the land.
I'm ready.
I'm so far behind in Beck. Oh my lord.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't have. Have you researched?
I've done
No.
anything.
Oh, you haven't.
I'm struggling to advance. Yeah. The hardships have just totally thrown me. Not being able to pause.
Archer ready.
Here's a question
For me.
from Unit Laptop. With the 3 core modes being survival, campaign, and multiplayer, are there any planned sub modes that you are allowed to talk
I shall
about?
lead.
Such as multiplayer having a PvP skirmish and a PvE survival mode. No. We can't talk about it.
Our buildings are under attack.
Ezekiel asks, is there a hero that has a theme around mines/traps, etc.? I think that would be really cool.
Question me.
Well, you'll just have to wait and see.
Archer ready.
All I can
Mines
say
and
is
traps.
we've got more heroes planned,
Your grace.
and that's all I'm gonna say.
What now?
You won't be disappointed. Ezekiel. That's something I can
Moving out.
Oh my god.
Um,
Jeez Louise.
What do you want?
well, that Axeman's going down. So that's good.
A hero has been
Uh-oh.
slain.
Ready.
Uh-oh. The unraveling begins, Mario.
That was good. Oh Christ.
Oh no.
What happens? Don't play with hardships, guys. We made these for people that wanted to have a bad time. If you want to have a good time, play Unforgiving and just play chill. I can't believe I let that happen. Oh my
Ready
god.
when you are.
It's I think it's all the mouse's fault, and also I made you not pause
Oh.
ever.
The pause is ruining me.
It's-
I'm
I
just
can't play without pause.
destroying me.
Ready.
I think I made it through 2 Death Knights on Nightmare. Last time I attempted it. But you're a parent, Mario. I'm a parent. You can't.
What do you want?
Pause is so important if you're a parent.
Oh,
You can't
Lord.
survive without pause.
I can't believe I let that happen.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill an elite spearman. How ahead of the curve I am.
Very well.
Now I've just got towers and no Alis. You know, trapped in here. Oh my god, yeah. This is definitely next level.
Okay, we're noting down all these bugs.
No, it's not bugs. I've trapped them in because I am a fool.
Oh, okay. Or was it a next level strategy?
Yeah, well, at least I got one person safe. Oh Christ.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Crystal in the north. Have you got the Arbalist yet? I don't think you do.
No, not even close.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have time to either.
Upgrade complete.
3 minutes? You could probably get a couple Arbalists out. Jimmy Bob Joe Bob asks if we'll ever post the survey results publicly. Probably not. We will be surveying quite semi-regularly to well, it does a few things. It gauges what you guys how you guys feel about the game, where you guys feel the pain points are. It helps us. We've got internal metrics that we can see some player behavior for people who've opted into giving feedback, and we can compare that against what you guys are saying, and that can help us determine whether or not
Got something for me.
something feels worse than it actually is, or vice versa, which is helpful.
Aye.
So those are all mostly internal. Those surveys are designed to be helpful for us internally. Probably won't show on the side. Will we ever see magic user units? Asks Supay37, or automated defensive towers or heavy caster hero. We've got the automated defensive towers. We've got the Ballista and Grand Ballista. Bizargo's kind of magical. We might have some other units coming down the pipeline which are kind of magical. One of the thematic tenets of Age of Darkness is that it's low fantasy, though. We don't want lots of people throwing fireballs around. We don't want necessarily like huge dragons, etc., etc. That's probably a bad example. I don't know if we've ever talked about dragons in this game, but the intent is to keep things more sword and board with flashes of magic here and there. Okay, Mario.
I'm
Minute
ready.
and a half left. You feeling?
I feel less bad, but I'm
Less
probably
bad.
still
Okay.
probably still in trouble. To be fair.
All right. Here's question on screen. What advice would you give to someone interested in working in game design?
I love
Mario,
this.
do you feel comfortable taking this?
Yeah.
Oh, I love these questions. So, advice. Okay, so one thing is making beer is a lot harder than drinking. So, if you want to make games and you really, really want to make games, there is endless amount of things that you can do to learn. I'd recommend literally just jumping onto YouTube, find the thing that you're into, whether it's programming, design, level design, art, like whatever it is. Start somewhere, and even writing, and you'll find something that you really like, something will click. If you try that and you don't find yourself enjoying it, or it's too hard, or you don't really want to stick to it, it might not be for you. Like yeah, because it's really hard. Game dev's hard. You really have to be into it. But yeah, just use the free resources you can. Once you've started that, I'd be reaching out to people if you can, local sort of groups, or if you know anyone at studios, or even just game studios, ask stuff, and yeah, join a Discord. Just absorb as much as you can, and make. Absorb, then make.
Yeah. A lot of people in the games industry make it into the games industry in weird ways. I know that we had a thread internally. One of the PlaySide employees was going to talk to a school about how to get into the games industry and ask for people to post their stories. And a surprising number of people were high school dropouts. If you want to make games, in my opinion, the most important thing you can do is just start making games. And that means board games, card games. All of these things they don't require a team. They will teach you a lot about the inner workings of a game, about what works and what doesn't, about how to create tension between mechanics, and mechanics that interact well, or mechanics that are designed to speed up or slow down the game. Notice that games you make maybe last way too long or don't last long enough. You learn so much just from making games. The other thing I would say is play lots of games and break them down. Figure out how they tick. There may be things that are very subtle that you may not even necessarily notice unless you're really paying attention. Why do some units move the way they move? Is there a grace period for when you jump on a platform? That sort of thing. There's lots of little subtle things that good game designers will put in to make a game feel good that may not be in your face. Oh boy. Here we go, Mario. It's looking pretty good so far.
Oh, that's what I forgot to get.
Okay. Ooh, there's a burster walking around on the side.
Research complete.
Oh boy. Ooh, he's going for the upgrade.
Oh, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Get out of there. Get out of there.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh my goodness.
Upgrade complete.
Wow. That was close, Mario. Oh my goodness.
She's finally made it.
Oh my goodness. You made it. I think you made it, Mario. Good job. After that frankly rough start, you proved your worth. You can stay employed. Well done. Get to keep your job. Did we not tell you that that was mistakes? I think someone was meant to tell you.
Research complete.
All right, good job. I think that's a good point to wrap it up.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all for joining us, for watching, for your questions. Thank you for playing AOD. Hopefully we'll be doing streams with different people semi-regularly, so look forward to the next one. We love you, and we'll see you around.
Thanks a bunch, gang. See you soon.